Why did meditation matter to both of you? How did that even come to be where you felt like you needed to share it with people in this way?
So I think we have different, kind of slightly different journeys to meditation. Both equally kind of important and valid as to what we do today. I was taught meditation. I know you said you do it with your son, or your son does it.
Yes.
In the same way I grew up learning with my mum when I was about 11 years old. In my early 20s, I became a Buddhist monk. As a Buddhist monk, meditation becomes quite important. It's pretty much your entire life.
Exactly.
and, and it was for, I went away and spent about sort of 10 years or so kind of doing that. And I think there was a certain point where I felt really strongly I'd experienced so much benefit from it myself. Really wanted to share it with other people, but it had never really been taught in a way that felt kind of accessible and practical. So I started looking for a way to do that. Actually started off doing one-to-ones with people in the clinic, and through that met somebody who became a mutual friend and introduced Rich. I don't know if you want to pick up.
Yeah, I think for me, I was definitely open to the idea of it. I had no real idea what it was, really, is the truth.
Yeah.
My mum, actually, funnily enough, had practiced it when I was a teenager, and I used to mercilessly take the mickey out of her. Why? Because she used to chant, and she had a picture of someone on the thing, and she'd like joss sticks and stuff, and I just thought it was hilarious as a 13-year-old boy that she would do that. And then my friend Spencer took me along to an hour-long, I've never done any meditation before, and he took me to an hour-long Zen sit, and it was like the most painful thing ever. So and I think that's the same for a lot of folks, right? They're like, oh, I hear it's good for me, I've heard about it, but they just don't know how to do it or what it's really about. And I think meeting Andy in the clinic, he just explained it in a way that was just so easy. I was like, wow, this is really not easy, like it's hard, but at least I could feel like I could start. Like I felt like there was an opening that was easy to begin. And for me, that was the biggest aha moment, because then when it starts working, at the time I had very, very bad anxiety and was really struggling like mentally. And then this very simple technique starts to help. You're like, why don't more people know that? Why don't more people know that? And then you realize it's because it's the way it's presented and the accessibility of it. And so I think kind of came together for Headspace, really.
My background is I'm a CPA, became a yoga teacher, own a yoga studio, but I'm also a corporate executive. And I know for a lot of people that are type A, meditation and yoga is one of those things I always make jokes about, that people are more afraid of that than going to boot camp or some really, strenuous fitness workout, because it's really takes a lot of courage to just even sit silent for any time. So how do you get people to just overcome that stigma of even just trying it? When you say, he broke it down simply for you, but, when we're talking to business people and entrepreneurs, how do they start? How do you break through that block of, I can't meditate, my mind is too chaotic to be able to do that?
So I think it's finding context for each individual. I think everybody comes at it from a different point of view. The one thing I feel fairly confident about is that we're all kind of human beings living this shared human condition, and we're all challenged from time to time. And if you offer anyone I've ever met, if you ask them whether they would like a greater sense of peace of mind and clarity, they're going to say yes. And I think a lot of the challenge, and of course there's all the business stuff, is kind of, would you like to be more focused and more productive and all of that stuff, and I think that's almost like another layer. But I think fundamentally, to look at this from a human being perspective rather than a business perspective, and we just all want to be happy in our life. And it's not like we want to be happy at home, but when we go to work we need to be especially happy. We just want to be happy in our lives and healthy in our lives. So I kind of start from that point of view, and then I think it's kind of trying to create the most compelling invitation. So one thing we've worked really hard on, in fact, I think our second or third ever hire when we started with Headspace was a scientist, and we felt really strongly that if we could create a body of research that sort of validated what it was we were offering, then for lots of people, but especially the business community, that would be really, really compelling. And I think when you show people, look, it's not just a kind of a nice idea, but if you actually show them a brain scan and say, okay, well, this is what happens kind of before meditation. Here's what's happening during meditation. Here's what it looks like 8 weeks down the line. For most people, that's a really kind of compelling thing. So I hope that we can offer not only sort of authenticity from where this has come from, but also the evidence and rigor of science, so that people feel more confident to try it.
Yeah, and I think like really working on our own science, on our own product was really important to us. Yeah. So there was a lot of research out there, but we spent a lot of time and effort in building a team to really test out how effective is Headspace. And now we've kind of shown that it increases focus, it reduces stress, it increases compassion, and it decreases aggression. If you think about the world in which we live, those things are just awesome benefits I think most people are kind of looking for. I think on the other side of it, I think when you show a business leader, a young person, a mum, whoever it is, people that they aspire to, be they athletes, be they business people, I think when you hear their story about how they've used it and the benefits that it's given them, I think it starts to elevate the conversation. And I think you've just seen that happen more and more as more sports people have talked about the state of their mental well-being. More business leaders say that it's an important part of them kind of performing. I just think as more people have come out of the meditation closet, as it were.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I know.
Now it's a thing where people are very much, they see it as a positive to even be associated with it. Yeah. And that's a big shift, I would say, in the last decade.